Mr. Speaker, today marks 1 year since the wildfires that devastated Fort McMurray. Now, the response to that crisis by thousands of Albertans was both heroic and heartwarming, but as we know, the recovery will extend for many years. Now, earlier this week, the Municipal Affairs Minister made a welcome announcement regarding property tax relief, but other government ministries must also be involved in providing wraparound, coordinated support to the ongoing recovery effort. So to the Associate Minister of Health, what ongoing mental health supports have been put in place for those requiring assistance in the aftermath of the Fort McMurray wildfires?
Associate Minister of Health.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and to the member for the question. We know that anniversaries such as this can trigger additional mental health concerns for people, so I would encourage anyone living in the Fort McMurray area or throughout the province who is experiencing any concerns to please contact HealthLink and to be asked to be connected with a mental health professional. Additionally, our government has invested over $24 million through the Wildfire Recovery Task Force into psychosocial health supports such as mental health supports, particularly for people within the Fort McMurray area.
First supplemental.
Well, Mr. Speaker, given that the environmental impact of the wildfires was profound and will last for many years, and given that Alberta Environment has been extensively involved in monitoring the environmental impact and the condition of land, air, water and wildlife in the region, my question to the Environment Minister: what is the status of ongoing assessment of the environmental impact of the wildfires, and when might Albertans expect to see a comprehensive report detailing those impacts?
Minister of Environment and Parks and responsible for climate change.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And of course, during the Fort McMurray wildfire, Alberta Environment and Parks staff were no different from the rest of the Alberta Public Service in that they responded immediately. I know that I received many stories of staff that were redeployed, working hundreds of hours to assist in the response to that fire. During the fire, Environment and Parks collaborated with monitoring partners. We enhanced our monitoring during the fire. From what I have been briefed, we have not detected any long-term enduring negative environmental impacts but beyond what happened during the fire, Mr. Speaker.
First supplemental. Seconds.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I hope there's a more comprehensive report than that coming. But the wildfires also had profound impacts on education in Fort McMurray. Now, given that returning to school life and having a return to some sense of normalcy is not only necessary but very important to the recovery effort, and given that students face additional challenges due to displacement from their homes, friends moving away, and attending in some cases different schools, to the Education Minister, what additional supports are being provided to students and staff of Fort McMurray schools, and are provisions in place for supplemental mental health supports for Fort McMurray students?
Honourable Minister of Education.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you for the very insightful question. Yes, certainly we recognize that the impact of the fires on our education system in Fort McMurray was not insignificant, and we have put in $4.3 million of stabilization money this year to offset perhaps declining enrollment, which actually didn't go down that much. It's a good sign that families did move back to Fort McMurray. And in addition to that, we have put in a $1.7 million funding allocation for training for professional development for educators, specifically in regards to dealing with psychosocial supports.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.